Complete different names, right? Because anti-mage is breaking your mana, right?
Yes.
He's not actually
mana
burning
break
it.
burns an opponent's mana.
Yes. That's why it's a spell. Because he has to like charge his minions again to get the friction going, to get the modifier started. It's much harder than anti-mages. I'm curious. You know, a part of me kind of wants Arkosh to win because I think the anti-mage mid could be really good. But I do think it's a higher execution draft than 5RATFORCESTAFF.
Yeah, agreed.
I do feel like 5RATFORCESTAFF is stronger overall.
Agreed. 5RATFORCESTAFF as well with the better core-to-core, right, as far as this TA versus Wraith King matchup actually goes. But I think Monkey could be the wild card here on the mid lane AM. I think it's really legit. This is not by any means a griefing pick. I think this is actually quite strong. You and I have suggested it quite a few times. Even for the safe lane AM, we've been like, oh, is he going to go for the faster build, Vanguard, Diffusal? No, it's always been Battle Fury AM. I swear, if Monkey builds Battle Fury this match,
oh no, I'll be really
I'm gonna
angry.
be upset.
I mean, you know what? We won't even need. We're just gonna have to tune into Pale Horse's comms, and I think he'll give him the earful he deserves. That's
true.
I would be surprised. Monkey is not the kind of player that plays for himself. He plays for the team.
Absolutely, and that's actually kind of interesting because Monkey did used to be an offlane player in his previous life, isn't that right? Before he was reincarnated as his current form.
Yes. Yes. He used to go by something forever or whatever. I don't know, some sort of weird animal.
Now he's just Monkey now.
Yes, which is much better. And in case you don't know, fun fact about monkeys, they're actually the only animals that we know that can set up complex social structures, more so than humans, and they can reach up to 100 individuals, like that level. They're not as much as humans, but they're one of the strongest in the animal kingdoms, obviously insects aside, because those are a different thing. So that's why Monkey's so good at playing with a team. He's had to learn. If you don't scratch his back, he won't scratch your back. But if you take away the bed bugs, he's going to eat yours.
Very common tactic. We see a lot of mid laners, especially in NA, go for. I do want to play off of that joke by saying, man, 100 so people on one team. I can't even get 5 people to work together in one Dota game. I'd say the monkeys are more advanced than us, although. But
yes,
this monkey trying to go for the advanced strat of not blocking the wave versus a Storm Spirit, this just never works. I've never seen this work because with Static Remnant, you have really good CS and really good base damage already on the Storm Spirit. So this has never been successful as Nico did secure all 4 creeps first, and now Monkey is kind of being bodied underneath his own tier 1 tower.
I'm starting to question if this is actually a strategy or, oh, I missed my block. This is what I was doing the whole time, I swear.
It's for sure a thing. I've seen it happen 3 or 4 times now.
No, I know it's a strategy. I'm just joking because you do it with a Storm all the time, and we've commented on how his base stats are really good. Right, and so you're capable of lasting under tower easily as a ranged hero, which usually ranged heroes in the mid lane struggle against, right? So I see this even against a Puck or Quap, right? But I think Storm is just probably the worst hero to do this against.
Yeah, probably.
He's really solid. Also, Red 2 has kind of been on fire, and after a game 1 like that, I feel like he's coming to game 2 pretty hot.
Oh, for sure. Mid lane AM though is kind of a big deal to work with, especially because I really like Monkey's build. His starting out of he's gone for a magic stick, super underrated versus a Storm in my opinion. I think not too many mid laners can really afford to go for this, but Monkey of course not going to go for the bottle. He's just going to go straight for Ring of Health, and that ought to be enough regeneration, especially once he does. Yes. He hasn't done it yet. He's not put a point in the counter spell. I thought maybe we'd see just the value point for the 15% magic resist, equivalent to something like a cloak, but he's decided against it.
Yeah, we'll see probably maybe a value point level 4, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. It's not going to be a big deal because Nico doesn't have mana, there's First Blood, and doesn't have the point in Vortex anyway, as he's taking the second point in the Remnant.
Final Zebra, unfortunately, a little bit weak to this lane. Yeah. He has to kind of do this to protect the TA, because she also dies relatively quickly to the Inkswell Tendrils and the Sandstorm, so it's a bit difficult for DNM to fight this. So all Abba can do is literally distract the enemy team by putting his body instead. I think that's fine, by the way. I think Albino Zebra's playing this lane fine. It's just they concocted a good combination here.
Yeah.
Gremlin and Crow.
Albino Zebra's actually pretty good in this lane in general, but he does have to be very wary of that 1-2 combo that they have, right? Inkswell into the Burrow Strike, because that will kill almost basically anyone in the game. But he is really good. This Abba lane I saw destroyed a very similar lane in the OG Tundra matchup. Perhaps that's just snaking, of course, but...
yeah. I mean, it's a solid... Like, you can always stand back and always heal your TA when that happens, but then you're not going to secure her last hits, right? By this, you make sure that she has CS, and there is going to be a bit more kill potential for the enemy team, but I think it's totally worth it, honestly.
Okay, so
and we look at the bottom lane a little bit as well. Pale Horse is losing this lane. The Ancient Apparition still not much help.
Why does that gotta be the first thing you say, man?
Sorry, Lil Nick is winning this lane. He's doing a great job on his Mars.
There's the half full.
Signature. Yeah, sorry. The world's burning, so... You know,
and speaking of the fool, Forsaken Orb... I'm just kidding.
Forsaken Oracle can't really do much. Like this combo of Wraithing and Ancient Apparition is pretty good most of the time. But I think with the healing of the IO, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
Mars is also a relatively tanky hero. He went for an early Bracer and 2 Gauntlets.
Yeah.
So I don't think Pale Horse can fight him.
Not to mention, I mean, I think you do have kill potential in this lane onto Giants. Pale Horse doesn't have the stun, so Giants just going to walk off this cold feet. No, not to worry. But even if they would go for that combo, Lil Nick on the Mars is a great hero to protect his Wisp, especially in the laning stage, when basically just a bonk is enough to create enough space with the move speed slow. Not to mention, of course, the Spear, which is, of course, a great distance creating ability. So, yeah, this lane is really good for 5RATFORCESTAFF.
Funnily enough, that's also what spears were used for in Ancient Warfare, right? So very appropriate here for Mars.
Suffering at the hands of this new movement speed slow that Mana Break now has.
Oh, Nico, I think he's dead actually. Monkey is just going to chase him down. And he did this alone as well. No need for the complex social structures.
There it goes, and the Omega tips. Finally, Arkosh Gaming, they can do a little bit of their team play here as they're going to coordinate the tipping games onto Red 2, maybe trying to tilt him.
Yeah. Good job, honestly. I think that was the most coordinated play we've seen from Arkosh.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, this series. Yep.
Yes. This series, actually, let's be fair. Gremlo a bit late on that tipping, though. He should work on his tipping finger, but for the most part, you know, he is a gremlin. Yeah. He can barely reach the keyboard, right?
It's not his fault, right? He was using one of his 6 arms to drink a Diet Coke or whatever he's drinking these days, right? So
Pepsi, I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
Forsaken Oracle will die in the bottom lane as Pale Horse attacks Giant. And there's the cold feet, but Pale Horse realizes it's a futile effort, and he should just go back to the lane.
This combo is just so hard. There's just so much regen in the lane. Lil Nick, again, with fantastic abilities to really just cancel any aggression, as he goes for a bit of aggression on his own. If there was still a side shop there, you'd be dead, he says.
Yeah, this is a combo that Team Spirit popularly run in TI often. The IO plus Mars combo in the offlane. It was brutal. If you guys want to watch why it's so good, Perch did a great segment in TI about it. And essentially, it's too oppressive, even without the armlet build that they used to go for. It's too oppressive for, honestly, any laner that's not essentially like a troll or something like that. Something that's a very strong laner.
Also, this solo kill that Monkey got onto the Storm is hugely impactful. Nico, Red 2, he had level 6, but was completely out of mana. Of course, with the water bottles being as bountiful as they are, as well as the Clarity active, he's back to half mana. And with the Soul Ring, he's going to be able to go for some pretty aggressive zips here, but you know, if he gets within melee range of Monkey, he'll be very quick to burn plenty of that mana. So this is going to be a big problem, actually, for Red 2. This mid lane AM, it's a great counter to his early tempo. It's going to reduce his farming ability in the jungles. I love this mid lane AM so far.
He is a little bit underfarmed, though, which surprises me from someone that spams Batrider that he's struggling to last it with AM. But the Storm is destroying. 22 last hits to his name. It's difficult for a mid lane AM to really recover. We're going to go in the top lane, though, as they find DNM, but there's no more follow-up. Yeah, I don't know. With the Vanguard build, you don't recover easily. It's all about tempo and experience, so I'm hoping Monkey can get some kills in the Storm to recover that way.
Yeah, it's got this Ring of Health online now, and the solo kills bottom a bit of space. He can always at least almost guaranteed get the last hit onto the range creep, as I believe they're fighting for Lil Nick right now with the Wisp away from the lane, stacking some camps. It was a valiant effort, but Lil Nick, again, is just too tanky. And let me see, was this a double stack? It was a double stack, so some big stacks currently in the jungle. As Monkey does get the blink away, Vortex will find him.
He has a level of counterspell now, so he might have an easier time against Storm. Nico constantly claritying and getting the help from IO to make sure that he's never mana void ready.
Yeah, and Monkey did take this point at counterspell at level 4. I've never seen him use it, but again, just for the casual cloak that it gives you, I think it's super valuable versus the Storm.
Agreed. Remember there was a bug a lot when this first got introduced where if you used it, it gave you double magic resist?
That's funny.
Yeah, and now AM's games got simplified by a lot. There was a while where all these sweaty AM pickers were like trying to get the perfect counterspell.
Going for the epicenter top lane. They tried to kill him with dust, but that's only 25 damage, not nearly enough, despite being probably the smallest instance of damage you can do in Dota 2.
Yeah, except for DOTs, right?
Well, I would
Iron Shell, probably.
Well, okay, fair enough. I don't think those would count, right? Because those are multiple instances.
Oh, like single instance of damage, yes. Yeah, it's up there with the Yules, yeah.
Oh, true. Yules, 50 damage.
Yep. He's doing an okay job on the top lane, but similar, like, they're just losing all the lanes.
Yeah, okay, this is still going to be a death. Oh, I thought he was going to maybe get that uphill miss, but no dice for him. Mana Void wasn't going to be nearly enough mana to nuke through Nico's mana pool. It's going to be then a duo kill then.
All lanes are being lost right now by Arkosh.
And the tips right back. Love to see it.
Yeah. At least bottom Pale Horse recovered over the TA, so he's he can maybe play. They can maybe play around him. I think you can still play around the Sand King even without Little Farm. Lil Nick. They use the Wraith Fire Blast though a bit early, and Cold Feet 1 proc. I don't know what they play around though as your Arkosh. Like right now, 5RATFORCESTAFF is pretty chill. Okay, they're gonna use Gremlo to go for DNM, but no epicenter. He lacks the damage. Abandon's already here. Gremlo could be in trouble himself. Trap has been set up, but DNM, you're fighting in the Sandstorm, and that is not a good idea.
No, it's not. And they did manage to at least push back, or actually they died to the Sand King, make that to the epicenter. It's DNM. Who died actually? That's not Sand King, but so the first epi failed anyway. So they have not really yet put a serious dent in this TA's farm. Perhaps now, as she moves into the jungle, Gremlo can actually look to get a little bit more action in this lane as the creeps are slowly starting to siege this tier 1 tower. And this has always been the problem. The one real big drawback with Mars is that if you don't completely like crush your lane and just throw arenas in and kill the enemy, you do struggle to take the tower as easily as someone like a Sand King, right, or any other kind of more traditional offlaner. So this is going to be at least a little advantage for Arkosh as they look to open up their map a bit more.
Yeah, it's true, because you're very dependent on Arena, right? So if Arena is on cooldown, then they can just attack you, and if Arena's off cooldown, you probably shouldn't be. You probably should be doing something more useful with your time. So you're right about this. That's why Whisper used to go for the Meteor Hammer build on Mars so common. He used to play like Brood Mother.
That's a really good idea because your matchup, your core to core, is simply just bad this game, right? With Pale Horse having the ability to literally reincarnate after your arena, and then he just continues CSing in lane like nothing happened. That would have been an interesting solution. It seems like he's not going to have to wait too long anyway, Lil Nick, to get some one-on-one time with the tower. As with the Storm and Wisp rotating down bottom, Pale Horse will take his leave and TP top, as Monkey with the DD rune starts to do pitiful damage to the tier 1 mid. Instead, I think he...
Bottom. There goes Gremlo, and actually all of TPs are coming in here, but the arena's been used. Forsaken Oracle will be the first victim in this engagement as Lil Nick might be frozen solid. Forsaken Oracle from the grave, ensuring this kill occurs. Monkey continues over for Nico. The other Mana Void gets vision now. Nico also took a heap of damage, and with the double damage, Monkey is going to be capable of bringing down the Storm. With the help of Gremlo, who steals the kill there. And now, the IO came back, yep. He did relocate to save someone there, but Giant... unfortunately, will come back potentially to his death. Gremlo has Burrow Strike in 3 seconds. In goes Monkey. He's out of mana. He wants Giant to be out of mana. Accomplishes it as well. A Phonic Shield, though, helps him out. And Giant, thanks to the Magic Wand, will be able to save himself. Here comes Lil Nick again, by the way.
No arena, though.
Lil Nick wants to punish Gremlo, has the spear. Ooh, barely misses every single tree there. And with the Ice Blast, they actually turn this around. Gremlo gets a kill on Giant. Forsaken Oracle had that tip ready.
Yeah,
bro,
good Ice Blast.
In trouble. Oh no, he's kind of alone. This spear will hit. Gremlo is here to save his lane partner, and with the help of Monkey, they have a chance to go for Lil Nick again. Crow is surviving. Albino Zebra is sticking to his guns though. He's going for Crow to his own death. Apparently, he's gonna get it, but Albino Zebra will die as a result.
Yeah, the infused raindrops, of course, on cooldown, which saved him on his first instance there of taking that bit of damage, even at level 1. This Miscoil probably would have nuked him. But still a better fight here for Arkosh, right? So they do actually end up not only getting red 2 a second time, but this AM, again, this is a faster AM with Vanguard. He can join these fights. In fact, he's kind of just limited by the mana, if we're being honest, right? Completely out of it without the Battle Fury regeneration, funnily enough.
Yeah, I mean, you know, AMs, they don't like magic, so he doesn't like pressing his spells, he doesn't like buying any mana regen, true to lore as Monkey. But his impact, you're right, has been pretty good. He's gotten disarmed by the same small camp, though, 5 times, so I think he's probably frustrated by now. As the initiation happens, Ice Blast did miss the Storm, right? Yeah, missed the Storm completely. And missed the IO as well, so nobody got hit by that Ice Blast. It's okay, Giant still got killed by the Sandstorm. They cover for Forsaken Oracle's mistakes. That's Pale Horse. He is going to be trying and kill the Mars here. The Epicenter actually gets the Storm. Nico will die. Gremlo playing out of his mind here. But the Arena will finally punish him. Pale Horse in trouble himself. Still has the Reincarnation and the Armlet. He can toggle it, unlike that BKB. He's going to go for Lil Nick next. There's the Cold Feet, sorry. But everyone is capable of retreating in time. 5RATFORCESTAFF will lose the tower in the process. I think if you're called Forsaken Oracle, you better hit those Ice Blasts, though.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a... I don't know, it does force Gremlo to go back in, and you still end up getting the kill onto the Storm and the tower, so all's well that ends well, but yeah, it could have been a little bit cleaner there from Arkosh. Monkey as well, he's deciding that he wants to get this Diffusal Blade online before he starts fighting. Again, even though he is a mid lane and has a faster tempo, he's still not too eager to fight without his items, and I agree with him. I think Diffusal Blade is going to make him a lot scarier this game. That being said, Arkosh, they still want to smoke and fight more off the back of this Blink Dagger that Gremlo has recently acquired. Does not have another Epicenter ready, but he's actually maxed both Burrow Strike and Sandstorm, and so he's quite strong right now.
Oh, wow. No points in Caustic. Usually you get the 1 value point, huh? I like this though. Gremlo has actually been so impactful this game with the Sankin. It's been very impressive performance by him. And they've utilized, I also think, the Ancient Apparition pretty well. They keep turning around fights.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice blink.
Yeah, need to go for that stun immediately onto the TA, of course, right, with the refraction.
Yep.
Not canceling, not allowing damage in anyway, is going to not cancel Blink Dagger.
Monkey literally just blinked to Lil Nick, hit him once, and was like, you know what? I'm probably going to die if I continue this, so let's just leave. Yeah, until he gets to the Diffusal Blade, Monkey will be lacking that extra bit of damage you kind of need. Like the mana break is nice for the damage early, but eventually people do run out of mana. But Diffusal at least gives you a little bit of agility. And Anti-Mage still has a low BAT, so that agility actually gives you a lot of physical damage there. Because of the attack speed it provides, obviously.
This is almost Diffusal online. Again, a different Diffusal Blade. Slightly more expensive recipe, but one less Blade of Alacrity to it.
And which means it's much cheaper, even if it gives you a little bit less agility. Gremlo has an Invis rune. Gremlo charges the Epicenter, and they're going to have to settle for Giant, which is fine. Without the IO, there's no more reload plays. At least you can farm safely for a while.
Yeah, agreed. The vision game by Arkosh this time paying off much more than last game, right? When all these early skirmishes were kind of going a little bit poorly for them, to say the least. Now they actually get to play a little bit more with their aggressive vision, with the jumps and stunts that they do have compared to last game. So this is kind of how their last game was hoping to look, as Gremlo will utilize the Tumbler's Toy there to catch Nico, who does not actually start zipping in time. So Phantom's Embrace, only level 2 though, is not going to really slow him that much. They'll manage to zip away, and now Gremlo, isolated by the arena, will be slain by Nico. Basically back to full HP immediately, thanks to all the regeneration this team has.
They continue to play this pretty aggressively, which I think you might be getting to the end of your power spike early with the Sanking, because unfortunately the AM hasn't really hit a second power spike. We'll see now with the Diffusal Blade if that changes a little bit. I honestly don't know how strong that is in a mid AM, because I know the timings need to be faster than this. He kind of did get crushed by some of the rotations early.
Yeah, and what's kind of awkward is that I would have thought his lane would have gone just slightly better. I think Nico got a lot out of this lane because he's playing really, really well right now. So he's had Orchid for a couple of minutes now already 1,200 gold in the bank, right? So he's had this for a couple of minutes, and this is an item that is quite scary towards an AM who would like to be able to blink in and out of these fights, right? Quite crucially, and that silence is going to inhibit it greatly. But now he has the inhibit on the Diffusal Blade, which is the name of the active, one of my favorites.
Yes. Okay, Sunsfan, thank you very much. Monkey, he always has the chance of counterspelling that Orchid and then just getting an Orchid himself, so maybe, right, that Orchid is counterproductive. Let's see how good Monkey can be with that counterspell.
Could be. A bit hard, right, because the items have immediate and 0 cast points.
Yes, it's very hard. But, you know, I'm going to mention it as they go for the TA. This time the stun does hit first. Thing so will also accomplish its job. And DNM will fall. Arkosh, this aggression is going to work out for them. Giant just blinks or relocates in, trying to save the TA. But he underestimated how long the TA would last there. And, Monkey.
Blasting coming.
He's going to get vision with this. Perfect. On top of that, they're going for Lil Nick. But the relocate back will save him. Great play there by Giant, using both instances of the relocate effectively. And now the counter initiation is here. They're going for Forsaken Oracle. And a lot of magical damage from the Storm. The AA is dead. And Crow is going to have to TP here. They have no stunts to stop him. Even with the arena there, committed before the spear. Of course, that was arena for vision partially, so that was why he did it.
It's deceptive. Arkosh might decide to continue fighting, but again, Red 2 is basically back to full HP and full mana.
Yep.
So it's really tempting to fight because they just blew the arena and you've scouted it. But now with TA responding, I think you want to get out of town, and Gremlo's going to do just that as he TPs away, using the cover of the Sandstorm.
Okay. Monkey's next time is going to be Manta style, so it seems like he's just going to build into regular AM from now on.
Yeah.
Except without the Battle Fury, which is fine.
This is usually the build I've seen. A lot of the mid and offlane AMs actually kind of go Slasher's way, not gonna lie. Now with new Diffusal Blade though, of course, and the fact that it actually stacks with your mana break, instead of the Echo Saber that previous AMs would have gone for to make you even tankier, now you actually end up going for the Diffusal instead. But mostly it's still the same, so I expect to see like a Basher after the Manta is usually the norm.
I like Monkey, how he's been playing the whole game, because he's been just kind of like tanking with his body and giving vision by doing that. So he's really the offlaner, which is great, because tanking is a pretty terrible offlaner. In the,
no, you're
in the traditional sense.
You're right.
Like he's more of a secondary initiator, which is great, but he's not the one that just tanks in front like a Centaur.
He's like a position 4.5, no, 3.5, right, on Sanking.
Yeah, 3.5. Yeah, exactly. Mind you, I think these days, again, when we're talking more about the traditional way of seeing the offlane position, I'm not saying the Sanking is actually that offlaner.
Yeah. His toolkit just doesn't really provide him a lot outside of the lane. Like, in lane, he's a great offlaner, right? He does everything you want an offlaner to do. He's got a recovery mechanism. He can really bully certain matchups, right? He does well there. But as soon as the laning stage is over and your first power spike with Blink Dagger is ended, you do kind of get reduced to basically just a stun.
Pale Horse.
Oh my goodness.
Has been abandoned in the mid lane. And Pale Horse thinks he can still fight this, but he loses his first life. Didn't toggle the armor before he died. Grimstroke will die first. Pale Horse now stuck in the middle of the arena. And he can't get out of the arena. The walls are still there, but the team fight continues for Arkosh. And they think that they can win this. For now, they're kind of right. Nope. They got destroyed twice. There's the Aegis finally taking off Pale Horse's hands. Will they go for a third fight? Yes, they will. Pale Horse in a really difficult position here. Monkey, though, coming in to save his teammate, and he's doing a great job. Lil Nick could be in trouble. Monkey almost got burst by the TA. Lil Nick heals back up thanks to the IO. Pale Horse tries to TP back home. They have a spear, and they spear him to the tree, and that's going to be the third death of Pale Horse, and the immediate tips. Yeah, that's going to happen sometimes.
That will happen sometimes. A bit of a haphazard engagement, if I can call it that, from Arkosh. They get red 2 out of that, but they do end up falling basically to the hands of the TA, who was mostly unbothered through the entirety of that fight. Really just her mana is going to be a bit bothered. Not really by the AM either, just by the amount of traps and refractions and melds that she was casting was kind of her limiting factor there. But yeah, and here they go even further now. DNM with the Blink Dagger able to just get up really aggressively here. That's going to be Gremlo just living. So they're not going to be able to catch him there with the spirits.
Yeah, I think that team fight just had something that Pale Horse really hates, which is a lot of useless communication around it. I bet they were probably telling like, oh, we can kill this guy, but all of that is irrelevant information. So, unfortunately, he couldn't really get off the team fight you expect from the Wraith King. Also, his item timings are not the greatest against a TA, and you're being kind of crushed by the Storm as well. It's a pretty difficult game for a Wraith King. But you also can't play around your AM, and your Sanking, as you mentioned earlier, kind of falling off at this point. Like, he's still a blink stun. He's fine for what he does, but he's not going to be the epicenter. I'm going to win you the team fight song.
Yeah, and because he is kind of basically reduced to a blink stun, you have to remember that does make the Abba super strong, right? Because then he's, what is he then? Just damage over time and a little bit of nuke damage if you can continue to lock him down after his stun is dispelled. Because, of course, the Photic Shield dispels almost everything in the game.
Yes, exactly. And that made it, I mean, that's making it really difficult for Arkosh to engage in any fight, honestly. And it's leading to now 5RATFORCESTAFF hitting their timings pretty well. This is usually what I would expect their window is, actually. Not even the last fight. I would say now it starts to become a big deal with the BKB. And once you get the BKB on TA, Arkosh needs to get especially creative to be able to beat her.
It's true.
And I don't think you can edit the ending of this game, Slats.
No, likely not. I don't have that set up here for my production overlays right now. Crow is going to be nuked by Will, Nick, and Nico. So they will jump in and take the kill. Regen rune for Red 2, so he's ready to fight yet again here in just a couple of seconds. Something I really quickly wanted to add, though, is, of course, the Abba is actually unable to dispel a stolen immune target. So if an ally is BKB'd, he cannot apply the Aphotic Shield. Is that really an issue this game? Not really. Arkosh, they only have Ice Blast to go through the BKB. Soulbind will persist as well, as it is undispellable, and it will latch to spell immune targets if they're within range of a non-spell immune target as the primary target. That's really confusing, but if you play Grimstroke, you know what I'm talking about. So potentially, right, especially once this Wraith King gets strong enough and he's actually able to kill heroes, maybe they have a little bit of a chance, even if BKBs are online. So it's not like 5RATFORCESTAFF are invincible once the BKBs are up, but they are still really damn strong, right? BKB 1 completed, BKB 2 completed, and BKB 3 completed. This is a triple BKB timing, and they're just going to gank Pale Horse in his triangle.
Yeah, they're going to find Monkey, who's going to attack this from Pale Horse, and counter initiation is here. And thanks to Gremlo, they actually bring down Giant. Monkey did die.
Nico's Ice Blasted. He might die.
They don't want to continue fighting this. DNM is also in a solo position. He's also BKing back home. Nico does die, and they get the double stun here onto Giant. Bring that Albino Zebra as well, or at least they're going to trigger his ultimate and bring him down a second afterwards. Yeah, nothing much Albino Zebra can do. Even with the BKBs, Gremlo's initiation was on point.
Yep.
And this man is almost turned this game around for them and is allowing Pale Horse to catch up with the TA. Eventually, he'll be able to go 1v1 against her. He just doesn't have the items just yet.
Yeah, and that's the difference of when an Ice Blast connects and when it doesn't. I mean, that Ice Blast completely demolishes 5RATFORCESTAFF. I mean, This is why AA is relevant, because trust me, cold feet and chilling touch ain't doing a damn thing outside of the lane, right? He's all about Ice Blast, which is why it's easy but important to be critical on AAs in this late game. They need to be able to connect on the spell. It's his bread and butter, really. And you could see how much work it does here alongside Gremlo's powerful counter initiation. BKBs be damned, you can't get it off if you're stunned. And even TA just needs to bail from this fight relatively quickly as soon as they realize that Storm will be dying. Even if he makes it back into Fountain, he's dead.
Yeah, and that plus the overwhelming amount of damage that Wraith King provides in the team fight has actually ensured this decent initiation for them. The AM is still falling off, but if Monkey is just going to play this way, which is honestly the most Monkey-like way I've imagined, which is just throwing himself into the team fight and tanking spells, kudos, dude.
Agreed.
That's actually probably the best you can do this game. You're not dealing any damage anymore. Your Yasha is okay. You're still a nuisance though because of the mana void. So you're a great threat. He has infused raindrops. That's gonna help him enough. There's the Orchid as well. And Monkey this time, unfortunately, oh, maybe not. Actually, fortunately, thanks to Gremlo, he can get away. And Gremlo, once again, saving his cores behind. He's gonna go here for Lil Nick.
DNM is here.
Lil Nick is the target. Epicenter has been used by Gremlo. That's not gonna be enough damage. He needs reinforcements. Gremlo might be dying here. One last hit from DNM will do the trick.
Yep.
And Pale Horse, he's farming in the mid lane right next to where his teammates are dying. So he's going to lose his first life. I think his second one is there too.
Yeah, there's the setup.
Yeah. Okay, Pale Horse.
Well, that's a big turn. What I was going to say is that AM is a really tanky hero. Again, if you guys haven't seen the Slashers Wave videos, I think the man makes really innovative content. Unironically, just kind of using heroes in a much different playstyle. It was his upload in 2021, I believe, on the AM offlane video, where he kind of taught everyone AM is a deceptively tanky hero as they're going to catch Forsaken Oracle trying to split push a wave with the relocate. Pretty easy there. He's got so much armor. He's got a lot of inbuilt magic resist as well. 45% magic resist just from counterspell alone. So he's got over 50% both physical and magic resist active. Yep. So he tanks a lot.
Did a great job there.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks to Gremlo also being able to counter-initiate on these fights, it works really well for them, right? Because they constantly catch him by surprise with just the tanking of the anti-mage.
Yep.
But they have to be really coordinated on these fights. I don't think you can afford to go at these haphazard fights anymore. If you want to win the game, mind you, they need to be all at one, you know?
Who? Arkosh or 5RATFORCESTAFF?
Arkosh.
Yeah,
Arkosh.
Okay.
I think 5RATFORCESTAFF has a lot more liberty to how these fights go, honestly.
I would say that's accurate, especially with the amount of saves that you have. Even if you're pretty countered by this AA Ice Blast, the fact that you're, one, able to reach the Ancient Apparition pretty reliably through the entire game, both with Blink Daggers as well as Storm Spirit, right? It means that you do have a lot more flexibility, and I think the ease of execution in these fights is basically kill AA, and then you're the world's your oyster, I would say, after that, especially with a 12k net word lead now that 5RATFORCESTAFF is pushing. They are feeling really strong.
I mean, there's even the point to be made that you could, yes, thank you, sorry, that you can just leave the AA in the base, right? Like, that serves two purposes, because one, you will always be able to hit those Ice Blasts easily, you won't die in the middle of the fight, and two, it gives much more time for Forsaken Oracle to go on Twitter, and that's his favorite activity.
That is.
It's a win-win for this team.
The only issue is that I'd actually, unironically, really like this Oracle, really like this Forsaken Oracle to buy Eagle Scepter this game. I think it's a fantastic item.
Oh, right, because Cold Feet is a necessary stun.
Cold Feet is a necessary stun. I think defensively it's great. It's a great item versus the Abba as he tries to go in for the D-Ward, but he goes alone. This is a very dangerous journey to take alone as they immediately pause. Mouse.
Right.
Do you mean a rat? Yeah, there it is, Crow. Hey, nice job, buddy.
Okay, if you guys have ever played in USC student or at SEA, you know immediately what this pause is. To my fellow EU brethren, it's apparently part of the culture there. The BM pause. At least it didn't question mark them. I love that Forsaken Oracle as well is the one that is allowed to unpause the game. Nobody else can do that.
Surprised he was unpaused it even. I thought he just picked up his phone and started tweeting again.
He took it in the chin. Well, I mean, if he maybe if we tweeted it, Arkosh gaming is totally gonna lose this game.
Oh yeah, true.
They'd have a chance.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I mean, hey, if we're talking about Twitter, I might as well plug their Twitter, right? At Arkosh Gaming, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
Good socials.
At Sir Action Slacks is the cult leader, I've heard.
Streaming Elden Ring right now on Twitter. On Twitch, I mean.
That's how dedicated he is to his team. That's how much he cares about them. We also have at CapCast, which is, I hear, the priest of this team. I think he calls himself the manager, but that's not a thing. 5RATFORCESTAFF. I'm gonna go for another smoke here. Let's plug in their Twitters as well. I do have a 5RATFORCESTAFF Twitter.
Yeah.
You can follow all these guys at DNM, at Dota, I'm pretty sure. Follow the The blooming NA pros, guys, these are the ones winning the game. You want to follow the winners, not the losers.
Yeah. And if you do want to follow some losers, you can follow us at Construct Dota and Travel Plus. But right now, Pale Horse, he is going to be probably the biggest loser right now. Has no BKB, actually, so he's just going to die here on his first life. And potentially even the second, as he has zero support.
Yeah, and they also killed the action apparition just in case DNM took him down to silence. But wait, DNM, he might have gone a bit too far. BKB. There were no tips this time. DNM activates the BKB.
Oh, but 5RATFORCESTAFF
Here's the help
here.
from Nico. They're going for Crow. The help from Monkey, but Monkey can only tank spells, and unfortunately against TA, doesn't have enough armor. Gremlo activates the epicenter, but is that going to be sufficient? He goes for Giant. Giant has enough healing. They send him flying, and he comes back down with broken bones. Arkosh. Oh, and Gremlo? Really? No dust? 20 seconds for the next dust here on Nico. So instead they're going to have to wait for the sandstorm to end. They see him with a trap. They hit him one last time, and that's going to do the trick. Gremlo is finally down. The team wipe has been accomplished. Arkosh has been wiped off the face of hell.
Arkosh, they really, like, unironically, they needed to get rid of this ward 5 minutes ago. This ward in their triangle, like, I don't want to say it's unacceptable that it's been this long and it's still up, because obviously you're not too keen on fighting in that area, but the fact that it's still been there and AA's died twice or maybe even 3 times for it is pretty bad. TA will lose her Aegis here thanks to the buyback from Gremlo, but he's the only one to buy back, and he's going to be the only one to die back now. So Forsaken Oracle is dove underneath his tier 4 tower. There's going to be double buybacks now. That's everything left in the tank here for Arkosh.
He did it in Ice Blast on Nico. They did not die, but, you know, at least congrats there. A little bit of personal growth for Forsaken Oracle. As 5RATFORCESTAFF still with a 23k lead. They just are going to wait out for the storm to come back in again. No need for them to pressure this any longer. Because honestly, you still have a lot of time. For the time that it takes Pale Horse to get back into this game, or for Monkey to even get in this game at this point.
Yeah, Monkey's done a phenomenal job of tanking, like, unironically, but unfortunately the team fights have not really come together around him. That initial fight that they took immediately after they lost first Aegis, or immediately after first Roche was taken, rather, was really great. I think that's kind of how the mid lane AM is supposed to be played, as well as the off lane AM. But Pale Horse, unfortunately, just hasn't really found the farm. And there's a blink in from Lil Nick. Pale Horse is going to jump in from behind, but the stun is going to be BKB'd off. Nico, Red 2, has now been relocated on in, and they're immediately onto the backline supports. That's 3 dead already, all without buyback. Gremlo still waiting to respawn after his dieback. And that is going to be top lane of Barrack secured for 5RATFORCESTAFF.
Yep. And do they want to continue this torture, or do they want to end now? That's the real question, because they could go for another tier 2, but at the same time, they seem to be having a lot of fun, particularly killing the AA.
Yeah, they do.
I think it's fine for them to take this easy, push the lane. Yeah, just play as safely as possible.
I mean, you got a 27k now. What's Dota Plus say? Oh, hold that thought. Gremlo's jumping in. This is a good jump. But
BKB immediately cancels it. They got Monkey and Pale Horse. As 2 cores down, the third one's flying. Gremlo's been dusted. Gremlo's gonna die. Pale Horse second life. What is that gonna be useful for? Absolutely nothing. At this point, they're beating a dead horse. 5RATFORCESTAFF will win the second game and take the best of 3, destroying and humiliating the not a cult that is Arkosh game.
Yep. Big 2-0 win for 5RATFORCESTAFF. Of course, I think to those of you that are maybe newer to the Division 2 streams and are mostly just Arkosh fans, perhaps this is a bit of a surprise seeing your team